know.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good golly, Miss Molly. Welcome to Rock and Roll Rowdies Live. We have a packed house today.
Packed.
Look at all these wonderful people, these handsome gentlemen and Granny. And
Something wrong there.
so, yeah, good to see you all, gentlemen. How are you all today?
Rocking.
Good. Everything's good.
What's that in your sweatshirt, Granny? What's that?
Oh, that's the Red Lion Tavern. It's a German pub that one of our friends, Elke, who used to work at the Beat Club in Hamburg. She's still at it, still pulling pints and punching people out.
Nice. That's a bit of
history. It's a little cool here, so I'm dressed for the elements. That's a little cool.
That's a bit of history there.
Yeah.
The old Kaiser Keller area. And
we got to get her on before she pops her clogs. She's 80 now. I think she's 80 last week.
Yeah.
Oh, no, 79. So it's getting up there.
I remember once I did bump into a lady who was working in a store somewhere in Ontario, and we got chatting. I don't know why. She was German, and she used to go to the Kaiser Keller all the time when the Beatles played there.
Yeah.
I was like, you're kidding me.
Elke was up that. Yeah, Elke was there too. She met them all, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that if I had a time machine, I would go back and go to some of those gigs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and,
imagine?
That must have been fun.
That was why I did it.
Yeah. So anyway, good to see you, Granny. Wilco, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. I'll leave Thursday. I'm flying into New York to see my two daughters. And then the following Thursday, I'm flying to England to start this whole thing with Deal Radio, Mal Craggs, get it all set up, rock and roll, get Mark Emery to get him out of that dark room of his. And, just start putting all this back together again,
Nice, good. So, yeah, good luck with that, though, the old transatlantic trip. Make sure you check that there are pilots in the cockpit before you leave.
Well, it's okay. I'm flying all the time, so I just take over.
And it's great to see you, Mr. Mark Emery. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Yeah. I'm good. Yeah, surviving. Yeah, I've been traveling up and down the bloody motorways. We were in Newcastle last week.
Was this you gigging? Are you playing, or was this?
No, I was with Martin Turner doing the sound. It was a bit of a nightmare gig. It was in a big social club in North Shields. So I just got the time. But yeah, it was good. Couldn't understand a word anyone said.
Why, man? Why, no, but can he?
Where's you getting, man?
We had this great local food. They served us. This is the meal they provided was Geordie Stotties.
Stotty cakes.
Stotty cakes. Jeez, this is all Dustin. This is all keto,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's 100%.
Judas.
It was like a roast dinner in a bun.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Convenience food. It's food to go.
Yeah, it's the original fast food.
It's kind of weird bread.
Is it dripping with gravy though?
It was dripping with gravy, stuffing. It was absolutely gorgeous.
Sounds great.
It's great. Yeah.
I think they gave that to the miners.
Yeah.
I think they gave it to the miners when we're down.
Yeah, because it's easy to eat.
Yeah.
So this is like a working man's club. I mean, they're still going those clubs then, I guess.
The whole festival was in this working man's club.
Yeah.
They got big clubs up there. It's not just it was 400 people, I think, and they had about 20 bands on over the weekend. But the backstage was a nightmare. They had the stairway, which was not much wider than my laptop, to get the equipment down into the car park. It was just Mickey Mouse,
You're lucky you had a backstage.
Well, there wasn't really one. So, we did, they said, well, use all our gear. We're supplying all our gear. It's the best of any gear, and they had this load of crap gear. So we had to bring in all our gear. And it was just a fucking nightmare. Really
all I gathered from that, Mark, is that you're not very experienced at entering through the back door.
Right.
But, the shoot, it was and around the corner. It was But then we drove 3 hours back to the Midlands after the gig in a fucking major storm. I think it was Storm Isha, and the van I tell you, the van was actually buckling under the wind. You could hear it creaking. You know, it's like
I've had a few of them.
passing all the dead trucks on the side of the road, fucking blown over.
Well, Britain's a very, everything blows right across Britain. All that wind, there's nothing to stop it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you made it back safe, mate.
No, you were in the Newcastle area?
3 days to one gig. Yeah.
Did they have indoor netty?
I don't know what that is.
So here's a little bit of history for you folks. In Newcastle, they call the toilet the netty. And I know why, because there used to be a Roman fort there, actually in South Shields. Some of it's still standing. And those little cabinets that used to go in these toilets was called the cabinetti. And it got shortened over the years to the netty. So that's very cultured, you think. You go to the netty.
Jeez, well, you learn something
you learn something every day with Granny.
That's right.
Yeah.
Do you like
grammar
movies?
School education.
Do you like movies about gladiators, though?
Ooh, yeah. Short leather skirts.
Also,
big
welcome,
swords.
Davina.
big swords. Welcome our good friend Dustin. How are you, Dustin, mate?
I'm doing wonderful, gentlemen.
Good.
Wonderful.
Good to see you, mate.
Good to see
Good
you.
to
And
see you,
hello,
gentlemen.
Davina. Hello, Davina out there, and anyone else that happens to be listening or watching on any of the places that we're going out. Now, you mentioned Deal Radio, Wilco.
Yeah.
Who you guys have been working with and are going to be doing more with. Can you tell us a little bit about Deal Radio and how you guys know them?
Well, we know them through Mal Craggs because Mal Craggs, the rock and roll rowdy, lives in Deal. And he met them just before, well, I think October, November. He was, it was actually September because I left in October, and we all talked and everything. So what they're doing is they're getting this show, the editing it, putting music to it, and they're going to put it out every Sunday. We don't know if it's last Sunday or the next Sunday, and that's what they're going to be doing. And they're also going to be working with us on this little but little radio TV things we're going to be doing.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. So Deal Radio is very handy for Mal there. Mal popped in and did a show on Status Quo.
Yeah.
Or Status Quo, as the North Americans would say. That
is bad English.
Yeah. And that was the UYC Experience show on Deal Radio. But you guys are going to have your own stuff going out on, as you said, Sunday nights, I think, on Deal.
Sunday night, Mark Carey owns it, and he does his show every Saturday and Thursday. So that conflicts with what we do, and that's why, you give it to Mark, because Brian, and he edits it for the Sunday.
Yeah.
But as Mark Emery just mentioned, though, we've got 80 episodes?
We quite a lot of stuff.
We do have 80 episodes, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just the video. I think we've done about 30 with you, Brian, at least.
There's at least that, and there's also the ones we did on my channel and on the Pop Culture Minefield, as well as these ones. So there's quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And the good thing about them going on Deal is that they can edit the music in, the music that we can't really play very much here because of YouTube.
I mean, yeah, taking advantage of the technology. I mean, having a radio station as your partner for what we're doing is fantastic. And then we've got two husband and wife, Kevin and Julie, coming in, and they're going to be shooting us in the actual Lighthouse pub days in Deal. So basically, I think Rock and Roll Rowdies is going to be based in Deal for a long time now.
And although it's Deal Radio, it's globally broadcast all over the internet. They've got a big user base, big listener base.
Yeah. So I'm leaving the 15th, I get there the 16th, and basically I'm there for 6 months, working all this out, being there, doing other stories with them, other interviews. I've got a whole bunch of stuff. Granny's got a bunch of stuff. Mark Emery's got a bunch of stuff. Craigsy's already done Status Quo, but I'm sure he's going to get us back in to do Phil Collins, Genesis, Pink Floyd. Basically all the bands we work for,
Yeah,
there'll be a special on Ganidrolog mixed in there somewhere.
well,
No,
we've got
no.
we did the video, Granny. They can use that if
They
they
can
want.
use it, yeah.
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 So the UYC experience is Mark's show on Deal, and there's the Status Quo episode. If anybody wants to go and listen to it, that's on.
Do we have
Mixcloud.
any idea when the Rowdies will go live on Deal Radio?
Well, Mal and I have already been live. We did live in September. We both went down there. Craigsy's already done Status Quo, and that's another one he's done. So, basically, we're going to be Deal. We're going to be doing them every week. As I said, once I get there, being in the States, it's just too far away. We're going to put in a proper scheduling. That's what we're going to do,
So how long before you and Mal Craigs kill each other?
No,
I'm just kidding.
What's fun about it is Granny, Mal, and I have known each other for 55 years,
Yeah.
And it's like it's a bad marriage, we just...
If we haven't killed each other yet, it's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. I mean, we just scream at each other now and then and we go, okay, whatever, Then we just get on with it. We're too old to argue, And we're too old to fight. We can't even throw a punch anymore,
Yeah, well, the Deal Radio thing is great because I've been checking out a lot of their shows. They've got so much stuff on there. And yeah, as I say, it's not just restricted to Kent. This is a global broadcasting station for classic rock, possibly the classic rock station in the world these days. So it's good stuff. Yeah, looking forward to seeing what they can do with all the different shows you guys have done and stuff that's going to happen in future as well.
It's an opportunity.
Oh, yeah. Opportunity knocks.
Huey Green.
Remember that show?
Huey Green. Didn't he get busted for meddling with children or something? Was it?
No, I don't think that was. He might have.
I thought they all did.
Yeah, Huey Green, Canadian, of course. Huey Green.
Was he?
Yes, he was actually a Canadian working in the UK. See, you let anybody into the UK.
Every day.
They might even let
There's
Wilco.
something to learn every week on this channel.
They might even let Wilco back into the UK. You never know.
It's a gamble. It's going to be a gamble.
Every time, the last twice I've been through customs, it's really funny. I was walking through last year, no, 2 years ago, with some cigarettes. And, these customs guys, to me, they're pathetic. And guy walks up, he's all in black. He's got his walkie-talkies, fucking all his bullshit. And he goes, "Those cigarettes?" I went, "Yeah." And he goes, "Hey, I'm talking to you. Stop." So I turned around and went, "What do you want?"
Yeah.
"The cigarettes." He goes, "Oh, do you have two cartons?" I went, "Yes." He goes, "You can only have one." I went, "You know what, mate? Are you making this up as you go along?" Because when it sold it to me, I could bring two in. Now you're telling me I can only have one. And guess what? I don't even smoke. And then he goes, "Oh, well, then you can't bring him in at all." You can imagine what I said to him. And he looked at me and I went, "Go fuck yourself."
Just little Hitlers.
The last 3 times I've been in, I've just done it with a robot. You stand at the thing, it takes your picture, you put your hand and passport inside, and you walk. I haven't spoke to anybody at least the last 3 times.
And then it sticks the anal probe up.
They get the anal probe. That's a little awkward, but quite nice.
Well, it sounds
actually.
like a bonus.
That's
If you're
right. There's a little there's a credit card thing that you can swipe it when you pay for that.
I always go through I've got all the Nexus and stuff. I go through all the. I never see a human if I can. I go to the machine. Although, I've maybe had occasionally. I might have had more whiskey than I was meant to have. I just didn't know the limit. That was all.
There's no limit for a Scotsman.
But you know what? It's like, it's normally, I went through the last time through the weekend. There was nobody there. But what gets me, like Monday to Friday, I mean, I wasn't walking through the Nothing to Declare. There's about 6 of them, and they all like picking people out. They all just stood there like the fucking cop, right?
Job's worth.
And then when this cop finally realized he wasn't getting anywhere with, because I said, "If you want to look at my case, you can't. Otherwise, go fuck yourself. I'm walking through that door." So I'm walking away, and this chick walks up. She goes, "Anything to declare?" I said, "Ask that other asshole."
Yeah, I've got an itchy arse. I've got an itchy arse. That's what I'm declaring.
Yeah, I said, they're out of control. They shouldn't be allowed to get dressed in black. They shouldn't be allowed to have all those sprays and cufflinks and the cuff fucking things.
Handcuffs, you mean? Well,
yeah, I know.
You're just tired of getting strip searched every time. That's the problem.
He loves it.
No,
So Davina's asking, will the Rowdies have to censor themselves for the deal shows? I don't think so.
no.
I always had this theory of it from the beginning. We'd have somebody with a buzzer. Whenever Wilco swears, we just hit the buzzer. So it'd be like beep, 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 beep all the way through the show.
2 hours
Like a
of
Morse
beeping.
code.
2 hours of beeping.
You know, you could have different sound effects for depending on how badly he swears. You have a different sound effect for each version. That was one of my theories.
I think the shows we've done on here, we've been pretty restrained.
We
to be
don't
honest.
swear that much.
No,
No,
we've
no,
been
I mean,
pretty restrained.
That's the most I've sworn. But back to customs and all that. In the 70s, Granny, we came from Japan, went back through New York. I got everything dry cleaned, and I had a brand new boom box that I bought actually in the States. So I'm coming through to London with the Average White Band, and I'm before the band. I'm about 4 days before them. The guy goes, "Oh, you just come back from Japan. Did you pay taxes on that?" I went, "No, I bought this in New York." He goes, "You just came from Japan." I went, "Watch my lips."
That's
Bought
right.
this
Yeah.
in New York. And I had the receipt. So he was looking at it. Then he's looking at my dry cleaning, all my shirts in little plastic containers. He goes, "Oh, so you bought all these clothes?" I went, "It's my dry cleaning." Anyway, got to the point. I went, "I'm not taking your fucking bullshit anymore." So they take me to the room. And finally they go, "Well, we're going to take that boombox off you." And I went,
Jesus
So
Christ.
I said, "So what do I have to do to get my boombox back?" He goes, he had a big smirk on his face. He goes, "Come back in 3 weeks." I went, "I'm on tour." He goes, "Come back in 3 weeks."
It's just ridiculous. Yeah.
Oh,
I picked it up and I smashed it on his table. I mean, it was in about 10 different pieces.
It's yours now.
I just looked at him and went, "Enjoy yourself, assholes," and just walked out.
Yeah, it's just. It's,
No, they're idiots. They don't help the people that abuse them. You know.
I always used to, because I traveled a lot internationally to do various things. I'd always you got to take everything out of the packet. Never leave it in a box or a packet. You buy something, take it out, scuff it up a bit. Well, I've had this all along. I never.
good idea.
Yeah, you never say, "Oh, this is brand new." But yeah.
The only hassles I've ever had with customs was actually really coming back to the States. We used to go to that legendary roadie pub, the Golden Lion, and Sean, the guy that ran it, he knew I like Carlsberg Special Brew. And so he gave me two cases of it, like 2 little pallets. It was like, that's what, 48 beers or something? So I shipped them back with the equipment in a flight case. And they came up at the customs and I got a phone call. I went to claim the equipment and they said, "What's this stuff?" I said, "Oh, that's for personal consumption." They go, "Well, it's too strong. You can't bring it in. You have to have a liquor license to import it." And I said, anyway, so cut a long story short, I said, "No doubt you guys will be drinking it. So be very careful. It's not like Bud Light. This got a kick to it. So be very careful when you're drinking it." It was so obvious they were just going to have it themselves.
That's what the Golden Lion looks like.
Yeah. That's the picture I took a couple of years ago.
That's right.
Still looks good.
Now, one question: I've never flown internationally. I've never left the United States. But can you, like, if you know, like, the hotel you're going to be in on the other side of wherever you're going, can you ship stuff yourself? Ship stuff to yourself, like FedEx or DHL, so you don't have to deal with customs and all that.
Depends what it is. I mean, if you're sending anything of any value, you've got to declare it, and they'll try and claim tax. I mean, you can ship stuff, but depending on what it is.
I mean, like, even like, it just seems like you should be able to ship stuff to yourself. Like, this is my stuff. You know, it's like, why does it? I mean, it's just so. I mean, I know that they're in place to enforce taxes and for revenue collection.
That's what it's all about.
Under the guise of safety and law enforcement and drugs and all that stuff.
You'd have to make a declaration on whatever package. If it's the post office or FedEx, you have to give a list of and it gets more and more paperwork heavy all the time. You'd have to list values and places of origin and all that crap. You get sucked into the bureaucracy.
Must have had to deal with this all the time. The carnets. Here's everything we're bringing with us and what it's worth and where we're going with it. I've had to do it for trade shows, and I can't imagine what it'd be like doing it for a band.
Well, Mark's still doing it.
I know. It is a nightmare. We've just been through a carnet, and filling it out was just ridiculous. I mean, You have to list every cable, as you say, country of origin, and you have to, with the country of origin, you can't just put USA. It's got to be US. You can't just put UK. It's got to be GB.
I know.
You don't find out until they reject your bloody list, 3 or 4 times, all the stuff that they want. And it's just a nightmare, and it's expensive. And they never even checked it once. Not once.
Yeah.
And we've been out the country 4 times in the last year on that same time. Not once did they even check the gear.
But every now and then they do. I think I told you all with Van de Graaff generator in the 70s, we had this Hammond organ and they put this rubber stamp over a joint in the wood between the keyboard and the body of it. And I had to put tape plastic over it. It said that has to be on here when you leave the country, when you come back. I'm like, oh, they put the tape protective coating over it. They've
just had all their gear nicked in some Eastern European country. Bosnia, I think it was. Van de Graaff. When we were out in Germany in December.
I can't believe we didn't get. I mean, I think about some of the times in the 70s, just parking trucks. So obviously a banned truck, so obviously full of gear. I can't believe it. It had a Wishbone, didn't it, once? I know that.
It did, St. Louis. Yeah, truck was gone.
I mean, I can't believe we got away with it so much. I often think, like, what the hell? Where do we park the truck in Manhattan? I mean, where the...
But when you got a rental truck, what you don't have any, you're not in charge of the security on it. You can't have any extra alarms and extra locks on it. You got what comes with the van, what the hire, you ride a truck.
Yeah.
And that was what it was, and it got nicked. Yeah.
In the 70s, can you imagine what it was like people looking at the speakeasy when there's about 20 trucks outside?
Right. Millions of dollars.
Every band in the world was parked outside the speakeasy.
Yeah.
This isn't the speakeasy, but I think it might have been outside the Golden
That's the Golden Lion. That's my
Lion.
scan, yeah.
Yeah. Keith Emerson's organ roadie. Did he have his organ stamped as well?
Oh, I bet he did. That woman.
Probably, yeah. She looks vaguely familiar.
He doesn't look strong enough to be the organ roadie.
No, I don't know what. He's Rocky. He's just one of those guys, always around.
Anyway,
I just put Chris Adamson today. He's 76, and he's gone back on tour with Def Leppard or somebody. And he was on the phone to me, and he's backstage shouting at everybody, telling them what.
It's going to be very Def Leppard at that age.
That's right.
He came into LA, he set up rehearsals and stuff for Bon Jovi. And now he's in Florida. He flew out last night. He's in Florida today doing a show.
On tour.
So if he's touring with Bon Jovi, he's not in the music business anymore.
Well, the Bon Jovi off. So he just came all the way from where he lives in North Carolina or South Carolina, helped set up, got paid for it, did that. Now he's going on tour with either Def Leppard or one of those heavy metal bands,
It'll be Nickelback next then. If he's reached as low as not Def Leppard as Bon Jovi, only the way lower is Nickelback.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kidding, Nickelback fans. I'm a Canadian.
On tour with
gonna get hate mail now.
Nobody Nickelback fans don't give a shit about me. Yeah. But speaking of 76, the age 76, we had another Woodstock veteran, and I didn't know she'd played at Woodstock.
I didn't know that.
Recently, Melanie.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Is that the roller skate song?
Yeah, I got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key.
I'm
one of the best scenes in a movie.
Woo-wee. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of sort of girl folk singers, but Brand New Key, I mean, everyone knows that song and loved it. I was a kid when that was out. It was like, it's just so catchy.
Yeah.
So good for her that she had that big hit.
I think there's some subtle drug reference in there,
Well, I think it was meant to be like a sexual thing, someone inserting the key into the roller skates. I don't know.
I don't know.
She had a revagination, and they know you got a brand new key.
But sadly departed at only 76. I mean, not
I don't know anything else she did. I mean, I wasn't really into that kind of music particularly. I know that song, but I don't know what else she might have done.
Well, me neither, but she did do... Oops, I'll turn the volume down. She did play at Woodstock, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of acoustic acts at Woodstock.
Well, I think they were had them on in between the heavy acts.
Yeah, because
setting up in the background
to set up. Yeah. So I mean, pioneer really performing at something like that. And she had a couple of things. I mean, I like this version of "Look What They've Done to My Song, Ma."
That one I remember. Yeah, she was quite nice looking.
Oh, nice girl from New York.
Yeah.
So
I wish that I could find
she had that lovely rough throaty voice. You know?
Reminds me a bit of Janis Joplin, but not rough.
I wish I could find a good book.
But, yeah.
I remember that song now.
A real good book.
So that was one I remember as well. I think she performed on British TV a few times when I was a kid. And of course, the one we all know, Brand New Key, which is the catchiest earworm ever.
A bit like Tiny Tim.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. Because it kind of has that Tiny Tim, like, tiptoe through the tulips type thing. Yeah.
So R.I.P. Melanie. I think we all remember in Britain the Wurzels cover of this. I got a brand new combine harvester.
Combine harvester. Oh, that's right. I remember that now. Yeah. So you remember all this stuff, Brian? That's amazing. I do remember that now.
You
got a brand new combine harvester. That's Mark's country. That's Mark's down. The Appalachia of England,
Somerset.
Somerset cider.
Well,
Devon cream, lad. Or
you must have bumped into the Wurzels a few times then.
Oh yeah, they're still on the circuit. One or two of them. I don't think Adge Cutler is still there. Adge Cutler and the Wurzel.
In fact, we should probably call up the Wurzels combine harvester.
But that language down there, it's only just starting to die out. When I used to visit my friend James, he lived in a place in Somerset, and his neighbor was a farmer, and they used to come and interview him from.
Yeah. Oh, I think we lost Granny a little bit. Hello? Or is it me?
I hear you fine. I don't hear him.
This is the Wurzels.
Something I need, 'cause I got a brand new combine harvester, and I'll give you the key. Come on now, let's get together in perfect.
They're kind of like the British version of the Smothers Brothers or something like that, like
rootsy, very rootsy.
Yeah,
I think one of these guys is Mark Emery, in fact.
they're still entertaining the the sort of county fairs and stuff like that around, tractor fairs.
Yeah, as Davina says, agricultural rock.
Agricultural rock, completely. Yeah.
I got a brand new. It's funny. It's a lot of affection for them. They had a few other hits as well.
I never linked the two between him and the Dinah, was it, or whatever the other girl singer was. I never linked the two, but now you mentioned. Right.
Well, this was their spoof cover of it, but yeah.
Well, I guess whoever wrote that song is quite happy with that because royalties are royalties.
Yeah, as somebody said in the comments underneath, I'm from Texas, and I think they would do well touring here. But yeah, I love that stuff. I mean, they're sitting on a tractor and everything.
No, you can't write that stuff.
Oh, you can't. No,
it's entertainment at the end of the day. I mean, we all get serious about our rock music and how cool it is and all that. But at the end of the day, we're all entertainers. It's just as long as people are happy and having a good time.
I quite like this kind of stuff. Yeah, I never had a problem with novelty hits. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily buy them, but sometimes they were pretty good fun. Here's the other one they had. I'll put it on the stream. I am a cider drinker, which was a cover of Una Paloma Blanca, of course.
Of course.
When the moon shines on the cowshed, we're rolling in the hay.
In the hay.
All the cows are out there grazing, and the milk is on its way.
Look, can you hear that?
Wanna try some, young'un? It's so cozy.
I'll try to get to the chorus.
I drinks it all of the day.
Anyway, the Wurzels. I am a cider drinker.
What happened to Granny? Where did Granny go?
I don't know. Has he come back in yet, or is he still out? He's still out. It was the same as last time. He had problems last time. He had to drop out. But so that's the Wurzels, Una Paloma Blanca, which is an interesting song because it was actually a Dutch band. The George Baker Selection had a hit with that originally, and they're the same guys that did that tune that they used in Reservoir Dogs, I think it was. One of the Tarantino movies. Little Green Bag. Dun, 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 dun. Same band, but they did Una Paloma Blanca. Two very different tunes. And they were Dutch. History, you see.
How you remember that stuff, I have no idea.
Because I've just got an empty mind of real things, real.
Yeah, real honest things.
So
useless
Full
knowledge.
of all these little facts. It's full of all these little facts. Nothing about the real world. Just
Right.
it's just, full of little facts and little doubts. Life is like an ashtray, full of little doubts, as they used to say.
yeah.
David Glenn, hello David, is saying, do any of the Rowdies listen to or know the Everly Pregnant Brothers? I've never heard of the Everly Pregnant Brothers.
That's funny.
Everly Pregnant Brothers. Oh, as in heavily pregnant.
I look like a pregnant brother. You know.
No oven, no pie. Oh, I've seen these guys. Yes.
Everly Brothers tribute.
Yeah, no oven, no pie is one of them here. Hang on.
Meat and taters in a pie dish sit, waiting for pastry to be put on.
It's Bob Marley and the Wheelers.
All of a sudden, catastrophe. Oven's got no pilot light. Shite. What we gonna do?
No oven, no pie. That's funny. I have seen a couple of their videos, yeah. And it's like, have you seen those guys? I can't remember their names now. We might have had them on a clip on the show before. The guys at Londoners that do the rap stuff, the two old boys. I wish I could remember their names now, but they were funny. The Everly Pregnant Brothers. Yeah, so I guess we had but we're all getting super old, obviously. But Nick Mason was 80 the other day.
Really fantastic.
Like, come on! I mean, Nick Mason's 80. Oh God.
Yeah, but he's still keeping. You know, he's got that band that he's doing all the early Pink Floyd stuff.
Yeah,
and he's touring all over the world. He's doing great.
Yeah, so full of secrets. I love it. I've watched a lot of their stuff on YouTube. They're keeping the old stuff alive.
Yeah.
Hang on. So here's like one of these days. I'll just play a little bit of this. It does look like a great show, and he's still touring this year doing it. So I wouldn't mind trying to get. Should have you in the band, Mark.
It's the old dinner knife for the bottleneck.
Yeah, you should be in the band, Mark.
I should be.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for my invite.
You know what I like about this, apart from the fact it is all the old Floyd stuff he's keeping alive, it's the fact that, unlike latter day Pink Floyd, the big tours that Mal did, there was always a second drummer. This time it's just Nick Mason. So I think that's nice, because before, when you watch the 80s and 90s Pink Floyd tours, you can never tell who's doing the drumming because there's two of them on stage, whereas here it's just him. So
the other guy's more of a percussionist, but Big Mason always kept the basics straight, 4x4 going on, and the other guy's like hitting the rototoms and everything else. I forget his name. Yeah, the other guy.
I can't remember who was the other percussionist on those Pink Floyd tours, but there was like 16 guys on stage by that time. So
well, it all starts to get a bit overproduced, doesn't it? You know.
When you think they did the same thing with just 4 guys in the 70s.
Well, it'd be nice to hear it like that, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know.
I think. I think it was Rick Wright that was the guy that was hired back as the early, because Nick's been ever present. He's the only ever present member of Pink Floyd, I think, since the very beginning. So he was still one of the band officially when they did that stuff, whereas Roger Waters fired Rick Wright, but then hired him back hourly because he got paid then, and the rest of them lost money. So it's the way to go.
I mean, I saw The Wall. I think we've mentioned it before. I think it was Nassau Coliseum in New York. I mean, I couldn't believe it. It was incredible. It's just the whole thing was this production. I mean, it just absolutely blew me away. Working with the white band with 2 light and genies, and that was it. You know, then go walk into the Pink Floyd and see that whole production. It just blew me away.
Yeah, I saw Roger Waters doing The Wall at the O2 in London, and I had tickets right near the mixing console area.
Brilliant.
And it was the best sound I've ever heard in for a live band. And I mix a pretty good live sound, I tell you.
Well, were you occasionally reaching over and just tweaking things?
Well, I was sort of scrambling over the barrier and sort of take over the mixing, which I had to do with a Pink Floyd band not so long ago. Not quite the same level, but I think I did tell you about that.
Well, tell us again.
Well, yeah, I was invited down to see a Pink Floyd band. I don't even know what their name was. Off the Wall, I think. So I got there and we got there a bit late, so they sat us up by the mixing console to sneak us in around the back, up on the balcony. And the fucking sound was terrible. There was all kinds of shit going on. The band are going, "What's going on?" Coming out of my monitors. You couldn't hear the guitar. And so I'm talking to my man, and are you the same with me on this? Does it sound really terrible? And there's people, actually shouting out, "Shoot the sound man!" So at the break, I went and had a word with the sound guy, and he was a house guy. Their main man who travels with them didn't make it or whatever. So they had the house sound guy, and he was freaking out. He was pulling his hair out. I said, "Can I help you?" I just got off the rail with Martin, so I was like fresh. And the mixer was an Alan Heath one that I've been using. So I just sat down, took my shirt off, took my jacket off, and just sat down and mixed the whole second set. And I got to say, it sounded great, but I had to go through it and just, get it all together for them. And the band at the end of the night were really fucking over the moon. They just said, "Thanks very much for helping us out." And, it was a good thing. And so then the management of the hall called me the next day and said, "Oh, thanks for helping us out last night. You saved the show." And they got me some tickets for whatever show I want to go for. They say, "Just come down."
Oh, nice. Good for you, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was a bit of a hero that night.
You.
I wanted to show stuff. Not this, sorry, wrong one. This is you, Mark, which I don't know if we've shown on here. We showed it on my channel. Everyone would focus on you, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you.
There you go.
There you go.
I'm 43. Looking like hell.
Sorry, mate. What were you saying?
43s there.
This was out in Malaysia or something, or
this was in Thailand.
Thailand, right? Yeah.
At Purapa.
I just want people to hear you're playing. So I noticed Dave Gilmore's
off stage.
Dave Gilmore's standing at the side taking notes, by the way.
I think he should.
He should. But yeah, this was this must have been sweltering. Yeah.
Give me a call.
I thought it'd be nice for people to see this because I don't think we've shown this on this channel.
Oh, it's nice to thanks. Yeah. That's my mate Paul McCracken, who owns a fantastic studio here in Devon. He offered to come and play bass for us.
Yeah. So that,
and there was a photo of me you, Wilco, and Paul. Did you see it? I sent it to you the other day.
Yeah. I didn't know Paul played bass.
Oh yeah, he's a really good bass player and a good songwriter.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, he's.
Did you send that to me, mate? I don't know if did I get that?
I sent it on the Rowdies, or maybe it's just Wilco's site. I'll send you.
Yeah, I could throw that up there, but yeah, I mean, there's a bunch. You've got a bunch of videos of you playing on Mark Emery's World YouTube channel, and that's pretty damn good. I have to say, you're pretty damn good.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man.
It's a beautiful solo, of course.
I sweated a few pounds off there. As I say, it's like 40 degrees.
Yeah,
you're setting up, and the sun is coming directly at us like a fucking laser beam. Sweaty, dripping like crazy. But you know, this is what you do. It's
what is it like having to approach playing those extremely well-known classic songs? I mean, how do you approach that? Do you say we're going to do our own thing with it, or do you try to recreate it as faithfully as possible? What's your?
I never really tried to recreate note for note. That's why I don't think we were that bookable, because we kind of like just played the music of Pink Floyd. I didn't really try to emulate them, and because we just didn't, and you can't really. But people do, and I actually saw another Pink Floyd band, and they were note for note, and it was fucking boring as hell, to be honest.
Is that the Australian one? Or the Australian Pink Floyd?
The Australians, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, what did
I like doing it because you can put some energy into it. A lot of that stuff is like really powerful, and just to stand there and sort of like do the old heads down guitar thing. It just doesn't give it enough energy. You want the fucking big drum solo, the big drum breaks. You want, you just want the, give it a bit of.
Well, there's some really majestic stuff, particularly in the Wall from the Wall album.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, Comfortably Numb is a stay. I still play it. Almost every gig. And Shine On Your Crazy Diamond, we do that.
Well, which ones did you enjoy playing the most, though?
Well, I think Shine On is that guitar-wise is most satisfying. It's a lot of brilliant guitar parts in that.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, it's a great gig to be lead guitar in a Pink Floyd band. I
mean, yeah, I can imagine. But it's beautiful stuff, mate. I enjoy watching that. And that clip, I think, amongst others, is out there on your own. You've got a YouTube channel too, so.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Cheers.
Check those out, everybody. Yeah. So Nick Mason, 80. Everyone's getting older.
Yeah.
80 years old and still rocking. I mean, that's you just keep going until you can't. If you're ill, and you're fucked. You're fucked. And then God bless you. But if you still got the energy and you're fit enough. I'm not really that fit, but I can get up on the tables and play solos now. But
you don't need to be helped up on the stage yet. No.
I need to be helped down.
So
you play from the bar.
It's interesting that people. I mean, I know my wife often says, "Oh, look at that! So and so is still out there playing. You should give it up. He's too old." I said, "Well, they're musicians. What else are they going to do but play?"
And if they give it up, they usually just kind of
die.
Disappear. Yeah.
Just die.
They live to play. It's not, and I don't think age should be a barrier to that.
It isn't really. I mean, there's a lot of older. I think I saw a bloody poster the other day, and Petula Clark was on the bill.
Oh, Pet Clark, Downtown. You know that Jimmy Page played on a lot of her stuff, including Downtown.
No, right. Well, he was a top session guy, wasn't he?
Yeah. But she's got to be in her 80s, well into her 80s.
Her 80s, you got the Stones. They've got the Stones are probably the longest running band of all at the top level, anyway.
Yeah, they do say,
but they've got to be in their 80s now.
Well, they are. I mean, Keith. The thing is, Keith did die a few years ago. He just doesn't know it yet. Nobody's told him. No one's got the guts to tell him.
Well, amazing. Everyone predicted Keith Richards like junky fucking. He's not going to last past fucking 50. He's fucking still here at 80 playing.
So he does look pretty out of it sometimes now, though.
That's
He's
terrible. But
I mean, think about how good these bands are able to perform. Look at Mick Jagger. He's what, 82 maybe? 80, 82. And you think about like our president options this year. They're in their 80s. They're almost 80. And it's like he's out there running around singing, and our guys can barely like walk to the podium. You know what I mean? It's like, come on.
It's a different skill set, of course. I guess he's in automatic half the time, I think. He's just in automatic mode. Has anyone plugged Keith in? You know.
Yeah. It's a bit of a messy man.
BB King was out there till he was in his 90s playing, you know.
85, I think he was. So was he?
He was
just died like a year. Was he older than that?
I think he might have hit 90.
He hit 90 because when I was at Mr. Uber, I picked up his grandson. And we're talking music, and he goes, "Oh, yeah, my granddad was B.B. King." I went, "You kidding me?" And I said, "How is he playing?" He goes, "Well, every time he stops playing, he gets sick." So we just said, "You know what? Just keep playing." That's it. You know, he just kept gigging all the time. And he showed me photographs of him.
Shuffle around.
Well, you know, it's, you know, I've lost two very good friends the last 2 weeks. I mean, Gary Smith gets married on tomorrow. You know, Christy King, God bless her, you know, from New York. I met her in 75. But it's our age in the 70s going into the 80s. And, you know, John Mayall, I think he just turned 85, maybe.
I think you're right. And he's still kicking.
Yeah, you know, and all those guys, the Stones, McCartney, you know, all the Floyd guys, the Deep Purple guys. I mean, when they stop playing, it's the vegetables. They're in the gardens looking at flowers grow.
Yeah.
You know,
it's what they do. It's what they do.
Yeah. Musicians are going to play.
It's not just a job. It's their life.
Like Phil Collins is physically in a, you know, it's in a bloody wheelchair. He can't, you know, he looks terrible. He's still kicking.
Yeah, they did another Genesis tour. Yeah, he had to sit down, but he's still out there. And if you're played him, I don't think musicians should ever stop unless they really, really can't do it anymore, because it's their life.
Oh, they're gone. All these legends, once they're gone, they're gone. You know, our whole generation. You know, know, we were in the 70s. I mean, we go on about you know, we're getting on now. We're only just turned 70. And we were always 10 years. Well, I was always seemed like 10 years younger than the bands, the top bands, the Beatles, the Stones. You know, because I was only like 12 when they were all having hits. You know, and so we still got a ways to go. We got to keep the rocking going.
Yeah, you have to. I like what David says here. Young people need to think about what kind of world they are going to leave Keith Richards, because he's going to go on forever.
Right.
I like that, yeah.
So, you know, when you think about it, Granny's 75 in March.
He looks good.
Yeah, Granny's going to be 75. I'll be 72 in March. You know.
He needs a new wig, though. He needs a new wig.
What's that?
He does. He does need a new wig.
Yeah.
He's gone bald, he told us last time he was on. He said
the glue is wearing out.
Yeah.
He sticks his current hair on.
The boss stick.
The boss stick. I mean, it is an interesting discussion. I've had it with a lot of people who say, rock and roll's for young people. These guys, bands, why are they out there touring again? Whatever band. I said, that's nonsense. If you're a musician, you play.
Right.
Yeah. So, I agree to a certain extent that maybe they shouldn't be trying to be what they were when they were in their 20s. But, you know, they could still play. They just, I love Nick Lowe. Nick Lowe is the perfect example of a guy who ages gracefully. He doesn't go out and play pub rock and roll anymore. He does a very quiet, relaxed set because he's an older guy. He doesn't try and pretend he's 20, but he still has a great show. Mm-hmm. It's a very different style, you know. Speaking of the new kids on the block.
What can I tell you? I do apologize. It's technical shite. Could be the rain.
You bid for a shite?
Oh,
He had a technical shite.
Maybe the rats have eaten the wiring, but all of a sudden it just shut off. So sincere apologies to the world.
I don't know if you guys did any of you guys ever work with Nick Lowe or any of those guys like Rockpile or Dave
That
Edmonds?
was no, they were different, a different
Did a-
vibe.
Stiff Records tours.
Oh, you did some stiff stuff, yeah.
Ah.
Because Nick Lowe was a big part of that stuff.
Like the Stiff Records thing, yeah. But,
We were in the Average White Band, and we were kind of doing our thing. You get cut off
were
from most of
funky.
the stuff.
You were
cut
funky,
off.
that's why.
well, Ian Drury, we've got friends that play with Ian Drury, Norman Watt-Roy and
Right.
Johnny Turnbull.
Oh, you showed me some pictures. Yeah, I think I've got those pictures
I
somewhere.
remember Norman Roy from Glencoe.
Yeah. Well, this is
Yeah.
it. We go way back. Pre-Average White Band. Norman
Yeah.
Watt-Roy, even Johnny Turnbull was there. All these boys, the Scottish contingent.
He's a break.
Norman wasn't Scottish, was he?
Who?
No. Norman Watt-Roy.
No, I don't think so. But
No.
he might be like me. I was given honorary Scotsmanship by the Average White Band
There
for
you
being
go.
a loyal servant.
There we go.
Is that, yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
Such a funky bass player.
Yeah.
Such
Really
a
good
good-
player. And he looks like a bloody skeleton, but that was not long ago. I took that photograph, I think.
Oh, that's great. That's a good picture. Yeah.
Look at that.
I remember him very well.
You've got a man growing out of your shoulder, though,
Yeah.
which is
That's-
weird.
That's
You got a thread.
that's Nigel Pike.
It is. It's spiky.
Yeah. Nigel, he's a bass player. He's been almost blind as well, but he can still play a bass. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't stop all those old blues guys.
That's right. Blind lemon pie. Blind lemon pie.
Blind lemon pudding. Remember him?
That's right. Yeah, blind lemon pie.
Blind Nigel Pike.
Yeah. That's right.
There's Martin Turner there as well.
Yeah.
Nice pictures, mate. Yeah, good
Yeah.
ones. I love the Blockheads. Funky band. Ian Dury, miss him. He was wonderful.
We did one gig with them, and it was at the Venice Film Festival or something. Was it, Wilkie? Them and Kraftwerk.
It was
And
fantastic.
that was a night in the hotel. Oh, and they were filming that James Bond movie at the same time. The crew was in the hotel. That was a night.
That's another movie right there.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
there were 60 bands from Capitol, I think, well, CBS, in one hotel, and also something Pussy, James Bond movie, and it was a week of madness. I mean, I was so glad to get out of there. It was. I mean, Ian Drury. I remember him like with his caliper on, running across the stage because it was all playback. And and he's like, he can't run because you basically had 3 minutes. It was all the single, and the things he was coming out with was fun. He was doing a Wilco.
Yeah.
Fuck,
He was an ornery little sod, wasn't he? He was good.
Oh, he was a little bastard. I tell
because
you.
Wilco Johnson, the other Wilco, he was in the Blockheads for a while, the guitar
Yeah.
player,
Yeah.
as well as obviously Dr. Feelgood and stuff. But I there was a spin-off band, The Planets. The Planets were a spin-off from the
That's a
Blockheads.
good one. Spin-off, Planets. Very
Great
good.
band, The Planets. So I love that stuff. So Kraft, tell me again about this Kraftwerk gig. This
Well,
Kraftwerk.
it was just this weird, it was like a convention or a contest or something, and
Yeah.
Kraftwerk came on. But if I remember correctly, they'd set their synthesizer just to play, and there was dummies at the instruments, and they were sat in the front row. But
They used to do that, yeah. The dummies.
yeah, everybody's clapping, and they're clapping dummies, and they were sitting in the front row. Funny at the time, we said, "Yeah, pretty funny for Germans."
Yeah,
You know.
I have seen Kraftwerk live twice. Not many people can say that. I've seen them twice in concert.
All right. The only memory I have is nothing musical. I remember somehow or other, me and one of Kraftwerk ended up running around the hotel with toilet seats round our heads. I can't remember how that happened.
I thought you might say you remembered them invading Poland, but that was
Yeah, that was before my time.
Oh no, don't go there.
I love Kraftwerk, by the way. I love Kraftwerk.
You don't get deep musicological stuff from us. You get things like toilet seats, and you have to talk to somebody else like Mark for musical stuff.
But I want to throw out. I spoke to Alan Gorey and Oni McIntyre last week.
All right.
They're doing their farewell. Average White Band are doing their farewell tour next year in England, And I told them that basically Dave Hickey lives in this town that they're going to be playing at. So expect at least a couple of us. And also said, well, I hope to see you in Newcastle because they're playing Newcastle.
Right.
So the old Gibbs going to be going out.
But they've added a couple of dates in the States in June and something. They're coming out to California in June.
I'm not.
So it's some farewell tour.
Yeah,
they're doing the Albert Hall.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out to Davina that it's a different Planets. I'm talking about a different band. That's not the band she's mentioning there. But anyway,
it's not the band that had Gustav Holst on drums, is it?
No, it's Brahms was on the piano.
Yeah, Brahms and Liszt, but they were
Brahms
in the pub.
They were Brahms and Liszt every night.
They're in the pub.
No, the Planets was a deaf school spin-off, and then there was some Blockheads involvement on production. One of the Blockheads produced them, but anyway, different band. But yeah, Deaf School. There's a band you probably know, Granny. Deaf School.
What?
Deaf School, eh?
I don't know them at all.
Steve Lindsay, guys like that. Yeah.
No.
Goon Hilly Down.
No. Oh, that rings some sort of chord.
That was the Planets, I think. The Goon Hilly Down. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted. So
here we are.
We're gone. Where the hell does the time go?
Who knows where the time goes?
Is that it? Gone, is it? Are we done?
We never did mention the Pink Floyd.
We did.
We did.
Oh, did we? Oh, while I was gone.
Yeah,
Yes.
you were gone.
Oh,
We did all the good. We did the good stuff when you weren't.
When you were gone, we really got
Tell us the story, though. Tell us the story.
Very briefly.
Yeah, it's time. It's
But
okay.
this was like 1967. I was still a real ardent train spotter, right? And so I was just turned 18. So I was starting to get a little bit of a bad boy about me. But we hitchhiked to London, and the first thing we did was went to Soho to buy our tickets for the Alexandra Palace show that night. And I'd never been in Soho before, so you can imagine a kid from Hartlepool, still pretty wet behind the ears. There's all these drug dealers and pimps and God knows what. We bought our tickets, and then we went to Waterloo Station and rode around on steam trains for a few hours. Then we made our way up to Alexandra Palace to an all-night psychedelic concert. That was like my life in a thing there. Trains in the morning, all-night concert. I'd yet to know anything about being a roadie, but 6 months later, I was working with a band. So it was a really interesting period for me. The trains were phasing out, and the music was coming in. It was quite a day.
I bet they had all that psychedelic lighting with the
They
oils.
did. It was smoking banana skins and light shows, and that's when I first saw the Soft Machine. Pink Floyd came in at like 4 a.m. I was staggering.
Was that the round? Did you say that was the Roundhouse? Or
No, it was the Alexandra Palace.
Alexandra Palace. Okay.
Ali Pally.
Yeah, and so that was a real turning point for me. It was like just that time of life, and my main interest was disappearing, and then this new thing came in, and next thing you know, I'm a freaking roadie.
Question from David.
David wants to know. David wants to know, what does train spotting mean? It means just looking at old trains. I like trains. It just means studying trains. It's a put down because people used to collect the numbers and people made fun of it.
Mark,
shut the fuck up.
Speech.
Did you ever go to the all-nighters at the Coliseum in London?
The Lyceum?
Was that the Lyceum?
Yeah.
Lyceum, yeah.
Yeah, I went a couple. It was also the first one was at King's Cross.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first
theater.
My first gig with Alice.
I saw Rod Stewart and Jeff Beck there.
Uh-huh.
What was their band called? They had a band together, didn't they?
It's just the Jeff Beck group. Yeah.
Was it just the Jeff Beck group? Rod Stewart singing, and all right, on drums was
Mickey Waller.
Was it?
Well, when I saw them, it was 68.
Yeah, great band, Rock Your Plimsoll.
Ron Wood on bass, yeah.
Yeah.
All the boys. But,
good times, good times.
Great times.
Great times.
Yeah,
well,
John
thank you, guys.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, I'd like to finish off with my first roadie job, which was Ellis at King's Cross. So I drove all around London picking everybody up. And I get to the gig and I was so proud of myself. And I walk in and Granny goes, "You got the guitars?" I went, "What?" He goes, "You got the guitars?" I went, "No." I left them in my apartment. It was like an hour round trip. I did it in like 15 minutes.
So they went out on stage and said, tonight we're going to do something different, a cappella.
A cappella, yeah.
Yeah.
No guitars.
Forgot the guitars. It was brilliant.
Guitars are so passe.
Yeah, Wilco was all full of himself because they had like an American station wagon. He was full of himself. But where's the guitars? Oh,
yeah. Who needs guitars?
You kept your job then. You got the guitars in time.
he still got the job. Then he got laid off for something else later.
Oh yeah, drunk and disorderly.
Punching somebody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. That was
Yeah.
good fun. Thanks everyone for listening and for chatting. Davina and David and Andy and
Yeah.
Mike. Hey, Michael's here. Michael's popped in. Hey, Michael.
Michael.
Hey,
Mr.
Michael
Springer.
Springer, there you go.
Hi,
Check
Michael.
Check out the show we did with Michael last week. It was
Last
the week
week.
before.
It was a good one.
Yeah. Thanks all you guys for being in the chat there and being with us. Appreciate it very much. Gentlemen, any final words for this week?
I would just like to say, Brian, whatever's happening down the road, all the best with all of your stuff. And I think you add a lot to what we do, and I hope we can keep doing it.
Yeah, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break for a while, but there'll still be stuff, so we'll see what happens.
For sure. We'll do
You know,
it.
once you're in our circuit, there's no escape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're in
Once
it.
you're in our web.
Yeah, I got.
Although we can't find Sully.
So
We should
may-
try and do another couple of those reaction videos if we
Well,
can.
Yeah, do
Whatever,
another.
Dustin.
Let's do stuff like that so that because I might be out of touch
Yeah.
for a
We
while.
got Dustin. Yeah.
Dustin, we've got old shows we're going to put out, and let's see if we can bring it.
We'll keep
I'd
it
love to
going.
see others coming in that might be able to host something with you guys as well, and we get a different flavor, or
Yeah.
get you guys on other shows out there. So
There you go.
yeah, get you guesting on other shows. So let's see. Anyway, yeah. So next week, I think either it'll be Dustin might do a reaction show again, or we'll put out one of the old shows that have not been on this channel before.
We'll
So
keep
they're-
doing
Because
it.
Wilco's going to be gone for a couple of weeks, so
Oh,
let's-
that's true.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
So
traveling
we
the
can
next
work
few
on it in a couple of weeks when you're ready to sit down, Wilco. Just reach out to me, and I'll be putting some stuff together. So
You got me and Mal and Mark's around. There's always you got a whole choice. We'll work something out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so next week it'll probably be a rerun of an old show with one of you guys that hasn't been on this channel, so that gets it on the channel and everyone can see that stuff, which is great. Till then, though, take care, everybody.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Keep on rocking.
Rock and roll Rowdies.
Fun being here.
Keep on rocking.